Hello guys, TKG is here for your comfortable LostArk life. In this video, I'd like to cover the recent release class Soul Eater. As the LostArk guy was curious about the alternate class engraving, so I thought it'd be great to share some of those infos for your LostArk journey. Now follow me, I'll show you what you need. Before going in, one thing you gotta know, this video is including the build of Soul Eater right now in KR. So the build and engraving etc are based on statistic and common experience of these days in KR. And of course, skills and engraving translation are done by me. So in the future release of the Soul Eater on Global, some of the translation can be a little different too. So watch this video with those considerations and use this video as your reference to your LostArk journey. Let's start with the most basic of the Soul Eater. Soul Eater was released on KR July 19th, 2023. It's about more than a month since the release, so some of the engraving build is now on stabilizing or formalizing right now. Most of the research of the skill composition and engraving build, I think it is almost done. So unlike the confusing intricate build on the start, she now has some stabilized mechanic, skill build, combos, or skill cycle right now. With these reasons, in my personal experience, she is quite available to taking a seat on MVP in the raid. Class engraving I'm going to cover in this video is 구음의 경계, boundaries of the end. Maybe just boundaries more familiar for the global players. Unlike the 만월의 집행자, executioner of full moon used a possession meter, that meter below the soul meter. 구음의 경계 class engraving turned those possession meters to boundary meters, which disabling the 사신화, Reaper form, more like magic amplification of Soul Eater versions. Also, the Banner Soul Eater used the Soulstone meter as her Sashin skill count, purple one. However, Kumum Soul Eater don't have that break. When you fill up the whole Soulstone meter, you'll be able to use the enhanced Sashin purple skill without any condition. And when you use it, it'll fill up the boundary meter, which slowly decreases. Filling up the whole red meter, 경계 meter, Soul Eater will enter the 영혼간탈, Soul Plunder status. Entering the 영혼간탈 status will disable on using the purple skill, Sashin skills, but during that uptime, it will grant you boost or buff and strengthening the 살기 skills, gray color skills. So in the short uptime, you are able to pour the gray skills. Well, let's talk about those details on the core mechanics section. As the Kumum Soul Eater has nothing to do with the specialization stat, her core combat stat is swiftness and critical. As the class engraving disabled the identity supply and the specialization efficiency on her Reaper form and Reaper skills, Kumum Soul Eater will show you great efficiency while using the critical and swiftness as her main combat stat. First build on her is half critical and swiftness, with hallucination gear set. With this build, she could almost have a 70 to 80% critical rate. Might be thinking, I think this is a little excessive. She's a swift class anyway. True, but there's one reason for that. Most of the 살기 skill Third Tripod has a damage increase on the last hit. So, conclusion, high critical rate is good to use. And of course, she also has a variation build. And I think this is the most representative build of the Kumum Soul Eater right now on KR with Nightmare gear set. And gotta be honest, most of her skill management is quite depends on how you will consist of her skill in the actual gameplay, like 422, 413, 4512. So in other words, her game management can be changed on her skill composition. Unlike the other swiftness build classes, she is really capable on huge and high damage performance. And personally, I think Soul Eater, especially the Kumum Soul Eater, is quite easy to bounce back. More like easy to get back on track even if you miss some skills or your combos got messed up on many contents. And also, she still has some build to test it out. More like she has a lot of variation, skill composition to choose from, and has a variety of combat stat to build. So if you are the guys like to test out your characters, this class engraving might be just for you. And above all, like I said in the first, her damage value on the raid is quite decent. So you could feel some stylish combat style with decent damage performance. But like I mentioned, her 경계 meter is slowly decreases when the raid goes on. So for the first timers, it might be a little hard to manage or maintain a certain level. And her transforming is not a toggled skill. It'll immediately activate and transform to the Soul Plunder status when you fill up all Kyunggae meters. And there's no certain warning, it will be turned on immediately. More like you are forced to use the Soul Plunder status in certain moments. And if you didn't memorize the whole or most of the raid gimmick's timing, you might miss some of your baby below every meter you already activated. And come to think of it, she has a slight low performance on the stagger gimmicks too. But still, the Soul Leader has a great popularity in KR right now, alongside with the Slayer. I think the popularity of the Soul Leader can be summarized like this. She is almost newly released, and so thus, it is easy to draw the interest of both new and old users. And I think this is the big reason for that expensive and popularity. She has a great damage performance within the stylish and cool gameplay. So, gameplaying with her, your LostArk journey might be more satisfying than the other classes in the LostArk. Core of the Kumum Soul Leader is Soulstone and Kyunggae meter. As I mentioned in the class engraving chapter, her Sashin skill now can fill up the identity meter, Kyunggae meter. Normal Sashin, purple skill will fill up the identity meter 10%, and full Soulstone purple skill will fill up 30% of the identity meter. So that means the more you perform the full Sashin skills, the more faster you'll enter the Yongangtar Soul Plunder phase. But unlike the other identity-reliant classes, Kumum Soul Leader has a little soft to filling up her identity. Personally, I think, or maybe you can consider this class engraving like the Drizzle Aeromancer. Drizzle is quite easy to fill up her identity, right? So fill up the identity with the purple skill, Kyunggae meter, and as soon as you're entering or activating the identity, pouring everything is a core mechanic of the Kumum Soul Leader. So in short, fill up the identity with the purple skill, pouring everything on a short identity uptime. Her skill composition can be recognized by the color, blue, purple, gray skills. Blue skill is a mangja, skill of the death skill, which can be utilized on supplying your soulstone meter, and so more like a backbone or foundation of the Kumum Soul Leader. Purple skill is a Sashin skill. As I mentioned in the 3 soulstone, her Sashin skill gets strengthened or power up and performing the enhanced attack immediately when you push the Sashin skill button. And making hit with the 3 Soulstone Sashin skill will fill up the 30% of the identity. So the Sashin skill is more like a positioning on the additional damage and useful identity supply skill. Gray skill is a main and core DPS and everything, which can be utilized during the Yongangtar Soul Plunder activation, and also Gray Salgi skill can be also utilized on supplying a Soulstone meter, and also has some decent damage performance in the normal status. So Gray Salgi skill is a main and backbone of the Kumum Soul Leader. Might be thinking it might be hard to navigating or maintaining or get used to this engraving. Actually, in the actual gameplay, you can push the skill whatever you want. Everything is quite free to use in most and every situation. So gotta be honest, you don't have to get stressed by the concerning every single combos or composition. I think the best advantage of the Kumum Soul Leader is that you can always has a free to use every skill with your own. More like you can manage your Soul Leader whatever you want. You don't have to get chained like Igniter Sorceress or other identity relying on classes. And above all, it has a decent damage performance without the hard, fixed combos and management. So it can be slightly easy to access for the beginners too. Easy and decent performance might be her great advantage on your LostArk journey. And as I mentioned, she has a really soft identity supply too. So you don't have to get so stressed by supplying your identity in the whole raid. Missing some combos might be a little stressful, but still, she is a great to supply your identity on many occasions. As I mentioned in the core mechanics section, her skill combo is quite easy to understand or more like easy to manage on our many raid. Her skill combo can be summarized like this: supply soulstone, use the Sashin skill, and when the Soul Plunder or Kyunggae mode got active, pour everything on short identity uptime. And repeat. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching everyone, and always thanks for your big support. Hope this video was a little help for your LostArk journey. Hope to see this new class on the global soon. And of course, if you like my videos, hit the sub for more upcoming infos. I'll come back with more useful infos in the next video.